we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado. This is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Rawe.
He's a little shy, but he's a good host, and he's a very good entertainer, and you know, he loves cooking for people. Jeff inspired me to get into cooking.
Green chili's the best. Dude, his wedding at the table, like his gift to you was his like rub sauce. You got to take home like this jug of rub sauce, and man, it was on everything.
So
he's been on point for years.
He made his own custom rub sauce. Okay,
so we should market that.
And this is a friend of ours, Jeff Krosky. We've been camping with.
He's probably going to listen to this. What up, Jeff?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Jeff? You got to come in here. He might be that one person that says a couple words.
I'll always remember St. Mary's camping with Jeff, man. That was such a good time, man.
We got down at St. Mary's with Jeff, and that's back when he had Tulo. Remember Tulo?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tulo was camping with us, man, and he was cool. Yeah, R.I.P. Tulo.
Yeah, rest in peace, Tulo.
But we do have another pup in the studio.
We do. Here I'm hitting 4 right now. We got a little Shibu. Geronimo's in the house.
He's chilling. First ever dog on the podcast. 245 episodes in.
Oh man, almost 5 years, right?
5 years in February.
Don't hit that.
I got that too. That was great.
He acts like he's gonna say something, but he won't.
He's like, let me talk. Let me tell him.
Let me tell you how hard it is to breed this dog. I ran into someone that had the same breed as him.
Okay.
Right before COVID, and COVID happened. I'm still trying to text this person. I find out like he broke up with his girlfriend and she tried to take the dog, and he ended up fighting to get the dog back. Mm-hmm. So after COVID, we finally start meeting up again and trying to get our dogs reintroduced. It's been since COVID. I've been trying to get this dog to hump this female dog and produce some babies. And dude, just never works, man. They're like so territorial, and they'll play for like 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden they just want to go like hang out by their master. She'll like go sit by him. He does this, and it's game over.
Good looking dog, though.
Hopefully. I just want another dog with the same genes as him.
That'd be cool.
Like, he's, like, so calm and collected. You wouldn't even know he's at work with me because he just sits by my feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got good energy. He's calm.
I know.
I've never met one.
Yeah, Shibus are really cool because when I worked at Camp Bow Wow, an awesome place if you're ever looking to board your animals. I would highly recommend it.
Free plug for them.
Absolutely. But I worked there for a long time, and the Shibu Inus definitely had one of the bigger personalities of all the dogs. Like, sometimes we would have to put the Shibus into, like, the large dog pit because they had so much extra energy. And so they're super cool, super personality. They do kind of talk, though. Does he ever kind of talk to you?
Yeah, he howls, and he howls in the car rides, too. Mm-hmm. They're loud. They're screamers.
It's a howl?
He like howls like a wolf when I get home. It's like the best thing. Like Shiba's energies when you get home for the first 5 minutes, it's like it melts your heart because they're just so happy to see you. This dude's just howling for minutes, and then it's all over, and then it's just like.
And then he's this.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
But he howls, and he has like this talk. It's so weird. It's high pitched, but
so it's not like a husky howl.
At first, yes, it's like a husky howl, but
like
when he talks and he's like screaming, like it's a different pitch. It's loud.
I've never heard it. Mm-hmm. I've heard the husky howl. I had some friends that had huskies, and that thing would make some noise.
They try to
almost talk to you.
Yeah, I wish.
Mimic that.
I wish. If I howl, he just looks at me like I'm like
he's like,
stupid.
Huh?
Yeah.
so I actually think that animals understand body language. Like, you know how like if you're trying to communicate with somebody that doesn't speak the same language as you can do body language like charades to help them understand what you're talking about. I feel like animals are capable of doing the same thing.
I think so.
Oh, by far. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're probably, of course, way more intelligent than us.
They're probably better at reading.
But yeah, like even when I feel sick and like not as like emotionally drawn towards him, he knows, he kind of just like reflects the same emotions as me, or like energy too. Like he lays by me, he keeps calm, he checks on me. And then other times when I'm like super hyperactive, like he might be hyper too, but they pick up attitudes.
Oh, for sure.
I think all the time.
They mimic their owners. Cesar Millan talks about that a lot. The old dog whisperer, and now he's got a new program where he's still doing the same thing, but that's what he talks about. When you enter the room, the dog is going to feed off your energy immediately, And the great Bill Burr has a great joke about that too, where he's talking. He's like, man, if you're chilling, they're chilling. If you're sleeping, they're sleeping. But if you're all cranked up, like that wasn't pass interference. The dog's like, what are you mad at? The door? You know, they feed off that energy.
You don't even want to hear it. If I'm yelling at the TV over some sports, he's upstairs.
He's like, I'm out.
Yeah,
he's gone.
He's not dealing with that.
Yeah, he's over it.
So I feel like humans have that sixth sense though too. Like I think I've talked about this before on the pod, but it's been a minute. So I'm gonna open this up. We can tell when people are watching us, and I've done a case study on my own accord in traffic, and it's been over years. And what you do, you just stare at people in their cars while you're driving, like at stop signs, and like 90% of the time, people like look like they like sense it immediately. They're like, what does this guy look like? They know. It's so I feel like people have that kind of sixth sense, like I'm being watched. You know, like your intuition. Maybe something comes up where it's just like uncanny timing. It's like serendipitous timing, but that's like your intuition led you there, sort of thing. It's because it like knows things that we can't even think of, and you just gotta like kind of be tapped in.
Isn't the mind crazy? It's just like that wonderful thing that we really can't even unlock and really understand to the fullest. Kind of like the ocean, right? Like the deepest parts of the oceans we have no clue about, which I would kind of like. Because I'm scared of water, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I'll only get in about waist high, and then that's about it. Oh, yeah.
Like, even at, like, swimming pools, too? Or like
I'll get in
just
swimming
like
pools,
ocean?
but, like,
no ocean?
I'm not a germaphobe, but I just, like, don't like pools, too, because there's, like, little kids doing things in there. There's, like, old skin floating in
the
there.
hot tubs, you're
like,
just sitting in ass water.
Yeah, so, like, in open water, man, they're faster than me, and I'm just meat in water, you know? I'm good on that. Like...
Yeah.
That's another anxiety attack right there.
So you got like thalassophobia is what that one is called.
I went snorkeling one time with an ex-girlfriend in Mexico, and it was probably like the worst time that I ever had a man up to.
What? Okay.
Worst time.
Okay.
I was just like breathing so fast, and it was like the snorkeling style stuff too, you know? So
you'd like take a deep breath and then go down, and you're like holding your breath down there.
Deep breaths already just thinking about this again. You know, the water's clear too, so I could see my surroundings, and still it's just... It makes me so nervous. It's like knowing I have to go to Costco makes me so nervous, and like my hands sweat.
That's how I feel about heights a little bit as I've gotten older. Okay. Not so much on planes. Like I fly a lot, and when I look out the window and see the ground getting further away, that doesn't bother me. But like when you see those videos of those guys like on top of skyscrapers holding up their selfie sticks, I'm like, it makes my feet sweat. I'm like, man.
Yeah, my feet tingle too when it comes to like scenes like that, because I love planes. I even love that takeoff part.
It's fun. I love aviation.
Yeah,
that doesn't bother me for some reason. But like
some certain scenes like that, I'm like my feet tingle. I'm like, ooh, okay.
Being way up high, like when we're on the roof of your building. Art lives in like a 24-story sky rise.
Even better.
Well, technically, it's a 23.
Because there's no 12.
Because they removed the 13th floor from buildings.
Yeah, this one they just called the penthouse.
Like they don't have a fucking 13th floor. It goes 12, 14, and this
is it haunted? Is this like superstitious now?
It's in a bunch of buildings like that, dude.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know if that's like an American thing. I feel like I was watching somebody gripe on this one time, and they're griping how like Europe has it right. Especially with like their basement numbers, like they have -1, -2. You know, it's a negative number. We already have those for basements. Like why do we have B1 or like all these? Why do that? I don't know.
That's interesting.
That's a good point. But I do believe in the sixth sense.
Okay.
I feel like I have that too, because this dog sometimes just stares, and I could feel him staring at me. He loves snow, so anytime it snows, I know. Because he's like trying to like paw me or like get me to wake up early in the morning to go out there and just go play.
He wants to be in it.
And if I catch him before he like starts like getting real close, he's weird because this dog, I know he needs to go outside and go poop, but he refuses. Like collars and leashes, he hates. Okay. If I could just open the door and let him go, like he's all in. But I'm like, dude, I haven't taken you out for like 6 hours. I know you got to go. You crushed your food. Like, let's go. And it's a struggle, but when it snows, he's just staring, and I could just feel him staring at me. Or if his like stomach's upset or something, I could just feel him wherever the hell he's at. He's just staring at me, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, it's a defense mechanism.
It just feels warm, right? Like you feel that warm. It's like spidey senses, you know?
It's like, what's going on right now?
It is kind of it's a fun test though, like you were saying, when in traffic, when you look over at someone, they typically do look over at. They're like picking their nose or something. They're like, oh.
well, and you need to do this because look, it's not a safe society that we live in. So if you decide to go ahead and start doing this in the field, what I highly recommend is have a light heart while you're doing it and have good energy within your aura.
Good intentions,
and then that way, like, when people look at you looking at them, they're not like, look at this weirdo, and then you're kind of be like, oh, hey, you know, because people can sense your aura. They can sense, like, really where you're coming from. And just like dogs, like what we were talking about, when your energy enters the room, you know, and humans can feel energy too. I believe in all that. Like, so it's really interesting, like, when you have these internal conversations with yourself that nobody hears, and you make decisions on who you want to be and how you want to project yourself, that's where, like, you really start changing the game around you.
I take the light rail downtown to work, and it's that whole staring thing, you know, like, if you catch someone looking at you, how are they looking? If you see someone kind of like moping or like they look like death, you're not going to sit there and smile back at them.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's first reaction. Maybe you should. It might make their day. But it's that weird, like, feeling of catching someone looking at you. Like, you know, it's like, what do I do? Do I laugh? Do I smile? Do I wave?
Sometimes I wave. Sometimes I wave. So there was no joke. Like, these two. Yeah, well, I was in my car. I was stopped, coming to a stop, and high school had just let out or something. So there's these two high schoolers that were, like, walking, and they were, like, staring at me as they were walking by, and I was, like, caught, and I was all like, hi, and I can't roll my window down or nothing because I still got it taped up. So, like,
Classic.
So in those kind of moments, I wish I could, like, roll down my window because it's tinted, you know, and actually be like, hey, you know. But it's all about having fun and, like, you know, yeah, not everyone's having a great day. It's
true.
It's not always a good day. But the more that we could try to share that, I guess, you know, the better off.
Most people just want to be left alone, I feel like.
That's
You probably
true.
see it a lot on the light rail. They got their earbuds in. They're looking down at their phone. Like, everyone's pretty checked out of what's going on around them.
I try and present that sometimes, especially on the light rail or, like, nighttime, you know. I'll just probably have my AirPods in, but I won't play any music, especially if it's, like, a late night train ride or something from, like, downtown and drinking. I trust people, but I don't trust people on public transportation, especially, like, the dumb things you hear on the news, people getting, like, punched from behind and things like that. So on a night like that, I just won't play music, have them in, so, like, people won't sit next to me or sit there and try and have, like, drunken conversations I don't want to listen to or have, especially, like, after a Broncos game or something. And, like, people just want to blab about their own, like, selfish opinions. And I just, like, have my AirPods in and I just listen to everybody else and, like, listen for my surroundings. Otherwise, if it's in the morning or, like, mid-afternoon, I'm just blaring my own music so no one talks to me. And if I want to talk to someone, then I won't have my AirPods in. But you just kind of, like, build that, like, that like, shield, you know? Like, don't talk to me. Like, this is my space. It's pretty much
That's how I am on airplanes. I'll have my sunglasses on. Usually, I fly unless it's night. You know, I always have the shades on, and people are like,
coming home from Vegas.
Yeah, we're usually NASCAR races where I'm flying home from. So shades on, probably hungover from the day before or whatever, you know. And it's actually how I met my co-host from Mash the Gas podcast. Coming home from a race, Kansas City, his girlfriend saw me wearing a Gordon hat and was like, oh, this guy's a NASCAR fan. Can we sit with you? I was like, sure, come on in. And we had drink coupons and all that kind of stuff. And we just started shooting the shit, drinking beers on the flight home. Now he's my co-host 12 years later, great friend of mine out of Dallas, Texas. So it's like you never know who you're going to run into, whether it's on a light rail, a train, an Uber shared ride, whatever. You know, sometimes it is good to look up and strike a conversation up with some random folks.
Yeah.
But there are other times where I don't want to.
Well,
I want to listen
there's
to
a
my
lot
music.
of weirdos out there, and I would include myself in that. I consider myself a weirdo in a lot of ways, but at the same time, like, people can tell what your intentions are, and there's a lot of people out there that really don't have the greatest intentions for others, and so, like, having your earbuds in and not listening, being aware at nighttime, smart move. You're, like, having this like, I'm too busy to pay attention, but really I'm paying attention and like getting my own back. Like, that's the right thing to do. You know, you can't trust any of this, you know. So, but then there's some really great people out there really doing their best to help the world, and so it's like, how do you, like,
It's a balance.
yeah, it's interesting.
It's a balance. It's your attitude. It's how you feel that day. Because, like, I don't want to be a jerk to someone. Like, you shouldn't have to be a jerk to someone. You know, like, if you're not having a good day, like, keep it bottled in or go home and let it out, or whoever needs to hear the story, let it out to them. But just don't put it out on a stranger. So if I'm not in the mood, then I'm just gonna try and make myself not in the mood. You can understand not to talk to me, and we're good. You know, like. you know when you want to talk to people.
Yeah.
But I do love airports, man. Like, there's nothing
favorite
better than
place.
traveling. Like,
I love it.
People watching, like airport people watching. Like, I have to have a drink or two before I fly.
Okay.
Not
It's a
because I'm like
requirement.
scared of flying, but it just helps ease it a little bit.
It's part of the
and
process.
Just ready to
Alright.
go. I'm going to Phoenix next week. Like, I'm so pumped
Oh, that's
for
exciting.
Love that place.
it. My laptop's staying at home, so I'm not working
Even
for like
better.
once.
You gonna go to that pizza place that you were trying to get me to go to?
Oh yeah, Pizzeria Bianco is life, guys. Like we were saying
You
earlier,
were talking
like,
about the game, too.
Pizza is life for me.
Okay.
I love pizza.
Oh, so I didn't realize, because before we started recording, you were talking about how you gave up pizza for a whole year. So I didn't realize pizza was life.
What was your first slice
pizza.
after
Oh, wow.
that year?
Wow.
Like, what was your first slice? What was the toppings? The crust.
For me, I'm probably gonna get real judged, but I love.
Okay.
This is my go-to pizza. It's got to be pineapple.
Oh, gosh.
It's got to be pepperoni, and it's got to be jalapenos, but only fresh jalapenos.
sounds good, though.
Not
Oh, yeah, not the pickled.
at all.
That does sound
Just
pretty good.
like actual fresh jalapenos, because I like sweet, salty, and spicy stuff. Like, let's blend that all in together. And I don't want a bunch of marinara sauce, so if I have the options, I want light marinara, and I want my crust crispy,
Yeah.
and like New York style.
Yeah.
I do like Detroit. I just don't like Chicago pizza.
Okay.
Too thick, the deep dish.
Yeah, and it's a lot of sauce too. Like a lot of marinara turns me off. Like I'm not
Gives me
really into
heartburn.
that. It takes away from like the other flavors. You
Yeah.
know, like if I really wanted that, I'll just eat lasagna or like
a good point.
pasta.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If I wanted some like that much sauce. Nothing against Chicago like style, because I do like Chicago style pizza. I love all pizza, man. I know it again, but just New York pizza, man, just gets me going.
New York knows what they're
Pizzeria
doing.
Bianco is just absurd pizza.
Man, I wish I would have gone there because it's by the Sky Harbor Airport, right? You were you're saying it's like 4 miles from there.
There's one in Scottsdale, and there's one like right downtown Phoenix next to the college. I don't know like the streets by heart, but it's like it's right by
Buckeye.
Chase Field and all that.
Oh yeah, that's close to the airport.
And it's just so it's amazing. Like it's breathtaking. I don't even know if that's even like allowed to like be said before pizza, but
Damn.
Breathtaking pizza.
and it's worth
Yeah.
if you don't get there early, you have to wait 2 hours to get
It's like
pizza.
that.
It's like that.
So it's
Okay.
a huge staple. So all our Phoenix listeners are probably like, oh yeah, that's the
Oh,
spot.
yeah, they know. They know.
And they probably have other pizza places for me to go to, and I'll listen and I'll go.
Yeah.
But Bianco is so good. And what really made me mad is I used to go to Phoenix. I still do. I go to Phoenix all the time. And I never knew about this pizza place until I saw this Netflix series about the best like pizza chefs in the world.
Okay.
And it's probably like 7 or 8 episodes of each episode based on each pizza chef. And the very first episode was about Bianco and that he was in Phoenix. And I was like, wait, what? Like my hotel has always been 2 blocks away from this place.
And
I
you
was
had no
so
idea.
mad. Yeah.
you never
I had
tried
no
it.
idea.
And man, it was like this dog. It was like love at first sight. Like, and the Netflix makes it helps sell the pizza because I've taken someone there that's never seen the episode and they're kind of like, oh, it's okay pizza. And I'm just like, oh, get out of my face right now. Like,
Oh,
get
man.
out of here. You probably like Little Caesars pizza, you know, like. I'll let it slide. But
You
it's
probably like
so
Little
good.
Caesars. You're like saying that as a diss.
No, I love Little Caesars.
I know.
Something about that cheese of theirs.
Yeah.
Little Caesars back in the day, though, like are
The $5
like,
hot and ready.
Yeah.
and their stuffed crust crazy bread back in like the 90s and like early 2000s. That was where it was at. Like Little Caesars in the 90s was way better than most pizza places. And then like they went broke and bankrupt and like they kind of disappeared for a little bit. And then they got this new comeback.
Pizza,
And I'm
pizza.
with it, yeah, because I do love their deep dish pizza.
Wait, I thought you didn't like the deep dish.
No, you say you like
No,
Chicago style.
Chicago.
But Chicago is like
But
the
it's
deep
the
dish.
sauce.
Yeah, Chicago versus Detroit. Like Detroit is kind of like that pan crust. You know, there's like no crust. It's just like this like burnt cheese, like kind
Yeah,
of layered,
at
like
the
that
end.
corner of the
Yeah.
lasagna that you really like.
Yeah.
And then it's just like cheese, and they kind of actually believe
So what's
in light
what's
sauce.
like Jets pizza? Is that the
Jets is Detroit.
And that's the Detroit style.
I don't really like Jets.
You don't like Jets? It's super greasy.
I think
Yeah.
maybe that's what
it's
it is.
major grease.
It's
Dude,
like, I don't know if it's
2
too much
slices, I'm
cheese.
kind of like over it.
Yeah, I think it's too
But
cheese
Jets is
heavy.
So good.
Yeah, too greasy, and I'm gonna go ahead and slander one establishment here.
Ooh, let's go.
I will.
Pod beef.
I will because, dude, stepping in. If you live in Parker and you have been to the gym, but to drink and not work out, there's an establishment called the Gym.
You ever heard of it?
Dude,
It's a
look,
younger bar.
It's a cool spot. Like they got a cool setup. Like it's cool in there, but
Stinks.
the kitchen reeks out the place and then reeks out your clothes. So anytime I used to go there, I would literally, when I get home, I would take those clothes off, put them in the wash, and then I would immediately take a shower, or else I would be smelling this greasy ass like in my nose. It was so greasy that it would attach to my nose hairs, and I would be smelling the grease for like 14 hours if I didn't properly.
Did you
clean.
try their pizza?
I don't think
I think we got one of their pizzas one night. We were playing pool.
It was
there.
probably good.
After we just got done slandering them, they have our stickers all over that establishment.
Yeah.
So thanks for promoting us, as we're now not promoting you.
Yeah, but the pizza is good. Like the food is good, and that's why it's so greasy.
It's
in
just
there.
the plus and minuses. It's like going to pho. Like if you go eat at a pho establishment, I can smell it in my pores. You know?
I love pho.
In my clothes. I gotta change clothes when I get home.
Yeah, it's a lot of aroma.
I enjoy the food, but I don't want to enjoy the smell all day. It's like cooking bacon in your house, and it still lasts for like 7 hours later, and I'm like already over all the bacon I just crushed.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right.
It does reek out the house. I love bacon.
Oh yeah.
Now, are you pan fryers or are you an oven baker?
Oven baked.
100%
oven baked baconer.
guys.
400 degrees, 18 minutes, crispy bacon.
We got 2 oven baked baconers
all
in
the
house.
time. And you know what? Honestly, it's almost some of the easiest cleanup too, because
Yeah.
if you put them on the racks and the foil on the bottom,
you're not
game over.
you're not like trying to do it with like chopsticks or something, trying to like
dude,
trying-
or
you're
just
all-
pouring the grease
You're all
in
using
like
you're all using the top.
can.
You're all using
in
the
the
top
coffee
as like
can.
a shield and shit, trying to.
Yeah, splattering everywhere.
Yeah, no, that's a major mess. So that's gonna clean it up.
Oven's the way to go.
There's
Yeah.
no even such thing as a coffee can anymore.
That's
like
a good
Folgers
point.
is all
It's
plastic.
plastic.
Yeah,
Dunkin' is plastic.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
It's like, what do I dump
Even
my
a lot of the
bacon
booze is
grease
going
in?
plastic. You know about that. you
Well,
know?
that was more of a glass issue. But yeah.
Yeah.
Or the people throwing it on the fields, ruining games. You know,
man.
And now like. It makes me mad, like they take away your cap for your bottle of water if you're like at Mile High or
what's up
something.
with
I'm
that?
like, come on, guys, like give
you're
me
buying,
my cap back.
You're buying a bottle of water so then you could have a sip, put it back in your pocket. Like why? You know, you have the bottle so then you don't have to just sit there and hold it in your hand the whole time, right?
Yeah, you need the lid.
And they completely
I
take away
can't
the
stand
usefulness
that.
of that.
Yeah.
Why do they do that?
They do the same with the 16-ounce Bud Lights. You know, that have the screw top. They're just handed to you with that. Which
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That's not
so
as
you
bad.
can't launch it and hit people with it on the field because there was like that era in sports where people were just like, hey, I'm gonna be an ass
Chucking.
and throw things on
Full
fields.
water bottles.
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
okay.
you know,
I
it
see.
can,
That's
it
why.
can gain
Okay.
some momentum with that
Yeah.
cap on.
It's a good
Yeah,
point.
yeah. A full water bottle getting hucked at you, like that's gonna hurt.
It's
That's gonna hurt. Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that move for that. Instance when Jeff Gordon broke Dale Earnhardt's record for wins, 77 wins in Talladega, Alabama. The amount of beer cans and toilet paper that was thrown onto his race car from the track, from the stands, we've never seen anything like it in NASCAR since.
that would have been
Really?
great to see.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
Gordon
I
loved
love F1. I'll watch NASCAR sometimes, and I mean like sometimes as like rarely. I'm sure I can get into it. And I've never discluded it either. I just never really got excited about NASCAR like I do like F1.
Sure.
But man, just like any accomplishments and things like that where the history's broken, it's great to see the celebrations, unless if it's on us. Like Game 4 when I was at the World Series
When the
when
Red
we got
Sox took
smashed
it.
by the Red Sox. That was heartbreaking. Like I don't know if I've ever gotten over it. And
You're still talking about it, so no,
and
you,
the
you
fact
have
like our
not.
management still sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
it sticks with you as a sports fan.
Oh,
There's just some things you can't get
rough.
over. I mean, I'm still upset about the 2007 Super Bowl with the New England Patriots and New York Giants and the 2012
Well,
Super Bowl.
I mean, come on, you guys almost had.
We were
the
18-0.
Perfect season.
You should have got that
The perfect season.
season.
I
Like,
know.
that
18-0.
sucks.
Look, I'm a Broncos fan, but I
100%.
still wanted to see that. But when else in my lifetime would I have ever had an opportunity
See a team go
to
19-0.
see a perfect season like
Yep.
that?
And
that was
wasn't
it.
that the Randy Moss team?
That was
'Cause
it.
That
Randy
was the
Moss
Randy
never
Moss.
got a ring, right?
no,
I don't know. Then.
No.
Like that, and
No,
he was
certainly not in New England.
so good. He
Yeah.
deserved that ring, and to get robbed like that.
I was
like,
upset that
oh,
Champ Bailey never.
got a ring.
Yeah. When he was with Denver,
That's
that was
sad, too.
upsetting.
Champ's still one of the best corners to
Yeah.
ever play the game, hands
Ever,
down.
ever.
I kind of
Hands
stopped
down.
paying after that era. I kind of stopped paying attention to sports after that era.
Yeah, and
I
then
kind of like was like, I've had it.
it's been for me with New England going through this rebuild now with Belichick being gone and now Gerard Mayo is our new head coach. This is going to be a huge rebuild period for the
Yeah.
team. So this will be the first time. I mean, I got into the Patriots around 2000 when Belichick came in. That's when I became a football fan. I was about 11, 12 years old at the time, so I started to understand the sport. And then Jeff Gordon retired, and I was like, man, my love for NASCAR changed a little bit because now I didn't have that guy.
Yeah.
So now I get to look at it more from an analyst perspective and just look at all the drivers on the track equally. I don't root for one specific driver.
That's fun though.
Yeah.
And with sports, like even country, like I didn't really listen to too much country until I met Kev. I didn't really pay that much attention to NASCAR until I met Kev.
Yeah.
But I'm not calling you out in those specifically because it could be anything. Like whoever you respect and spend time
They get you
around.
into stuff.
Yeah, they get you into things and open up your mind to new things. And look, I haven't done a weekly challenge in a minute. I challenge everybody that's tuning in and checking out this episode to wait, what was going to be the challenge? I got distracted by that epic crack.
Well, I was trying to do the the
Yeah.
weekly crack.
Yeah, for the weekly challenge, weekly cracks and I don't know. It was going to be a challenge of
Probably trying
it'll come
something
back to
new. It felt like, or adapting to someone else's like beliefs or
oh
loves that they
yes,
have.
thank you, Joey. Yes, this week's challenge is to break yourself out of your own mental comfort zone and try to learn something. Thank you, Joey.
I like
Got
that.
you guys.
Yes.
Active listening sometimes,
Yes.
I like
I
that.
got so distracted by the crack.
Yeah, the crack.
I felt that crack too.
Kev, what do you got? What do you
felt
got
that
over
crack.
there? What do you?
Well, so
what do you got over
we're
there,
gonna do
Ev?
something fun here, man. I don't know if you guys have heard of smelling salts or whatever. I mean, these things have been around forever. It dates back to the old times, when people needed a little bit of a lift. It's basically ammonia gas is what you're inhaling. Doesn't sound, very appetizing, but it does amazing things to the body. Weightlifters do it. Athletes will do it. You see, quarterbacks on the sideline will be sniffing it just to get that wake up. Boxers,
After concussions.
fighters,
Yeah.
concussions, things like
Yeah.
it's been used when people faint, in medical conditions. It'll bring them back. So my good friend John out there owns this company called Yep. They're like a nutritional company. They do a lot of different things. He's a 4-time bodybuilding champion. He's a fighter, solid lad. And so I purchased his product, these smelling salts. For those that follow us on social media, probably saw me doing it in my apartment last week. We're going to do it live action on the air, and let's give it a go. So the idea is you really just want to take, a hit and get that. It just kind of wakes you up. Whew. You can go in that slow hit.
Yeah. Oh, I could smell it from over here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm down one to that. Here, I'll let you go next. But
Joey's next.
You want to give it a good shake, and then
good stuff.
I'll just kind of sample it, a little bit.
Let's see how this goes.
If you go in heavy, it might make you cry.
Yeah, don't go in too
It
heavy.
might make you cry if you go in too heavy.
Yeah.
Man, like Toucan Sam says, follow your nose, right? Like, wow.
That'll wake you up.
Man, that made my eyes water instantly.
But it jolts your respiratory system. Yeah.
You know what's crazy too is it only got through my right nostril.
Okay.
Like it really just cleared
Okay.
everything
Okay.
up there.
So plug that one now, and then yeah. There you go.
Oh man,
That's legit.
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's legit.
I mean, that's that rush.
All right, I'm gonna get a little.
That's beautiful. I need that for like breakfast, guys.
It's
Don't
don't
I
want
don't
to do
wake
it.
up ever hungry.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't
that
either.
Will make me.
And
that
I
will
don't.
make me happy and just be like, man, who needs
Yeah,
breakfast?
I like doing the slow pull on these.
Yeah.
Going Joey Diaz style over here.
Woo.
I like that. Slow pull. Geronimo, you don't want any part of that.
Yeah, Geronimo, don't get
Oh, my
near this
God.
one.
No, I don't think it's safe for dogs.
No, yeah, let's keep it this way from the puppers.
But I mean, now you understand why the athletes do it.
Oh,
It
that's
kind of just jolts your respiratory
amazing.
system.
Yeah.
It's supposed to increase alertness.
Oh.
So, free plug for Yep
Yeah.
over here. Definitely check this out if you want to get into the smelling salts. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yep. Wake up with Yep. It's a great product.
It's called Wake the F Up.
Yeah, wake the F up. And Discussion Combustion endorsed on this beautiful episode with our man Joey over here.
That was fun.
I literally got a tear from that. I got
yeah.
a tear from
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Going, yeah.
Like
It got me a little bit.
It'll do that.
Yeah.
that's amazing.
That's kind of fun.
I just conquered a water fast and for 72 hours.
Ooh, I've never.
A water fast.
Yeah, you just 72 hours of water fasting. I actually did broth too at noon and 6 p.m.
Okay.
And then I also read that you can have like salt packs. So I was just cranking the salt stuff that I drink after runs for breakfast just so it kind of like the electrolytes get the brains going and all that. Maybe I might just use this next time when I'm waking up, like as much as I love salt, like I'll just have this real quick and then I'm good to go. Like skip breakfast.
Gets you going.
Oh
Yeah.
man. But water fasting is tough. That's
so 72 hours, no food, just water?
Yeah, just water.
Man.
Because I've heard it takes 3 days from the last thing that you eat to like fully go through your digestive system.
Okay.
So like sometimes it's just like a cleanse through the intestines and everything and clear it out. You do lose a bunch of weight. I lost probably like 8-9 pounds during the whole fast. But it's just like a mental thing.
Now,
it's like the things that I quit.
Did you maintain that weight loss, or did you bounce back after the fast?
I bounced back only because my buddy came back in town that I haven't seen in a while, and he wanted to go tour around and go eat some food. So it kind of ruined it. I'll do it again. But it's just like a good mental and like type of like will that you have, you know, because it's easy to fast while you're working because like most of the time you're just taken away and you're always go. But when you get home is when it's like the hardest.
Yeah.
There's
especially nighttime, like before you go to sleep and your stomach's like grrr. But I haven't even done like a 24-hour fast recently or nothing like that, like, or just a water fast. I'll do intermittent fasting where it's like maybe 16, 17 hours, and that gets rough. But not 72 hours.
72 hours.
3 days.
No, that's
and
dedication.
Try and fit in a run. Like I wouldn't go hardcore. I would just like kind of jog it, maybe cut it down a little bit, just because I still felt like I needed to still run. But it was tough, man. It's tough will. It's just like quitting pizza for a year.
Yeah.
Like it's like a New Year's resolution, you know. Like it's not something that it's not my resolution to just quit pizza. There's kind of like more things to it, you know. Like if I quit eating pizza, I'll probably lose some weight.
True.
I probably won't eat it at 1 a.m.
Or like your blood pressure will be better or something
you know,
like
that.
You know,
my stomach will probably feel better.
Like how dialed in do you get?
Oh man, I every year I quit something that I love. Like I quit coffee one year. Actually, it was last year I quit coffee, and that was
I gave up coffee too.
That was crazy.
Really?
Yeah. The natural energy that you get is so much better than like the caffeine that people like strive to have.
How long did that take for that? Do you have the natural energy coming in too? Then you feel like?
Well, the problem is I'm a pretty heavy drinker. So, and of course, I'm going to be changing that this year in June. So I drink a lot. So I kind of wake up. Most people would call it hungover, but you know, when you drink beer like I do every night, you're not going to get the best wake up. Okay. But I feel like once I have woken up, drank my water, got going for the day, I feel pretty good. I don't need that coffee hit anymore. When I was in the grocery biz, you know, back when you and I first met, and you were serving me my coffee, Joey was a Starbucks
barista. Starbucks.
You know, I was slamming cups of that shit to get going that early in the morning. We'd start at 5, 6 in the morning. You know,
that's super early.
And then I worked the club right before that too. Like my early 20s, man, I was a robot. I needed like 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
I was good to go. I was working the nightclub. I'd get home. I'd have like an hour to change before I have to go open Starbucks. And then from Starbucks, it would be noon when my shift is over. And then I'd either go to school or I had like another day job that I had to do. So like I missed the 20s energy, just robot. And like you could just drink and go back to work the next day and just be a machine. And now, man, like when I get that hangover, I'm dead for like 2 days.
Yeah.
Which is why I started to like not drink anymore. Like I'll have a drink here and there for like a good occasion. Waste management. There's no way I could go to that sober. Last year was like a blessing in disguise. I can't even describe how crazy that golf tournament is. Like it was like a college frat party for 3-4 days, however long the tournament goes. I didn't even make it to Sunday or the Super Bowl because the Super Bowl was in Phoenix last year too.
That's right. Yeah,
I even had a ticket to go to the Super Bowl and swapped out a Super Bowl ticket so I could go home early and just like be at home in Colorado for the Super Bowl. I was done.
You didn't want to be at the Super Bowl, huh?
I was so exhausted. Waste management tore me up. And like,
is that TPC Scottsdale?
Yeah, the Phoenix Open. Yep. And then the Super Bowl is out there, so like concerts were everywhere. I don't even remember some of the nighttime stuff I did because you're just day drinking, and then it just gets into like
everything just blends together.
Yeah, it's just like, oh man, I remember being at this bar and it kind of sucked, and someone's like, oh man, you remember going to this concert? I was like, nope.
Yeah. I mean, did I have stuff like that too from when I was going hard on all this different stuff? Like I was having a good time. I don't regret it. Like I'm not gonna sit here and regret my time, but like it did mess with my memory. Like I don't remember everything. Sometimes Kev, you'll remind me of a story, and then I'm like, oh yeah. It takes that reminder, like that. Oh yeah, thing. Yeah. You know. But even like, I don't know. Since I haven't been drinking booze that much anymore. And your dog's just posting up here. He's so
chilling
cool.
over here.
Geronimo is so tight, man. He's way chill.
I think he likes you.
Yeah, he can tell. Dogs can tell. Like we were talking about,
They read the energy.
And I do love dogs, so they can tell that I love them. They can tell I love them.
Yeah, if someone's dogs don't
Yeah.
like me, I feel off about
Yeah.
myself. I'm like, wait, what's wrong with me?
You
Kind of like
feel
someone's
offended.
parents
You
too.
feel
If someone's
offended.
parents don't like me,
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, what's wrong with me, man? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a great human. Like something's up,
Yeah.
and I need to know.
I felt like such a champ because I went over to this house recently, and they had like a foster dog that they had taken, and it's this big white dog that's really skittish. And I've worked with dogs, I've been around skittish dogs and stuff before, and the dog didn't really bark. And like after the night, they were like, I heard they were like, wow, the dog didn't bark at all. The dog wasn't really barking. Like apparently it barks at like everybody all the time. So it was like one of those things where you feel like you got like a gold star, One of those things where you're like, yeah, like
I got the approval.
I got the dog approval. Yeah, that means more than a lot of other things.
It does.
Like even people on dates, they'll be like, well, I'll wait until my animal meets you, and then we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
Need the dog
Exactly.
approval. Gotta have the dog approval. I'm gonna take you home to meet my dog.
Yeah.
Then we'll really see.
Yeah, then we're gonna really
If
know.
I'm on a date with a chick
Never
and she
really.
tells me she doesn't like dogs, it's already game over.
Yeah.
First of all, too.
You're like, well, it's been fun, but see ya.
It's okay to be scared of dogs, but if you just don't like dogs,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
dogs are so much better than humans. Like, I don't know. Dogs are great.
Yeah.
It's crazy that people abuse dogs.
Well,
Like
it's
I
terrible.
just it's
Animal
like, it
abuse in
blows
general.
me-
No, that's
It,
horrible.
garbage.
it
Yeah.
just like blows my mind, man. Like I cannot believe people are so heartless and can like dig
How
deep
low
and
are
do
they to
that.
actually
Oh.
do that to an animal? Like they are low. Yeah.
It's terrible.
That's
And
bad.
it happens every day. Horses, cats, dogs, you name it. These people are getting thrown around, malnourished, you name it.
And it's like the same thing when I like see people not pick up after their dogs too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what's the house look like? Like,
Yeah.
what's the housing situation look like
Yeah.
if you can't even like take the energy to pick up after your dog?
Yeah.
Like, what are you not picking up at home too? Like,
Yeah,
it's-
like how
Lazy
how,
dog
how
owners.
deep does the lazy bone run?
The lazy
Yeah.
bones runs deep.
The lazy bone runs down deep as the marrow.
Yeah, so the lazy bones runs
and
deep.
working downtown and taking the
Yeah.
public transportation, then you also walk and like see like
Yeah.
the homeless and everything too, and probably maybe something bad happened where they're in that situation, but then also there's a million other situations out there they could probably pick themselves up and not be in that situation, but they still decide to just like sleep under a bridge and pollute everywhere. Like when I sit on the train every day, it's just so sad how much trash I see along like the light rail. It's crazy. And like how do you combat that? Like it's you can't like give them a ticket for littering because
Like
they won't go to court.
How do you motivate these people? Like
Because
how,
they'll
how do
take
you
things
give them
out of the
motivation?
trash, but they won't go put it back in the trash when they're done with it. Is what really makes
That
me
is,
mad.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, and Brant Tobler, he's a comedian here in Denver. He was on our show, and he had talked about some of his frustrations with that, and like the homeless, because he lives downtown, and they were tearing his fence down and just kind of littering around his house, and he's like, "This is bullshit."
Yeah.
I mean, at some point you got to get it together. I understand people have hard times. We talked about with Tammy, with the homeless. There's a lot of it around where the studio is. It's kind of unavoidable, but there's still like something about, even when you're in a horrible situation, it doesn't mean you have to be a horrible person about it.
100%.
Right, because I encounter that a lot too. And even back when we were in the grocery biz, I mean, I would see a lot of it in the parking lots, people begging, people getting upset, people trying to use and abuse any situation they could. But you're right. What do you do about it? How do you enforce it?
Can't give them a ticket.
Yeah.
They probably have money for it. Because you always hear the stories like when they find like a homeless person, they're like richer than most like average Americans because they just hoard all that money and don't know where to save it. They can't put it in a bank. They just end up hoarding. But other than that, you just still can't find them because if they don't have money, they're not going to go to court and show up and pay a fine. Like it's weird. I don't know how you solve that issue. It would be great if we'd figure it out, but it's just sad to see just how polluted things are since COVID. Like, it's okay to be homeless now. Like, it's okay to not want to care.
It's bad here in Denver for sure.
It's
and then
weird.
The migrants are starting to pour in. New York, Chicago, Denver, they're coming in. They're coming. There's a border crisis. All that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, every day. I recorded it one day on my phone, just like how polluted it is. Like, I'd go pick it up, but then I just feel like the next day
It'd be
it's
right
just
back to
gonna
the way
be
it was.
polluted. It's like the war on drugs, like you can try and stop like the biggest drug dealer ever, but guess what? Right around the corner, there's going to be some other dude that's ruthless, ready to just hustle and
the black
kill
market.
streets,
The black market's not going anywhere. Same with firearms. You know, you can make any attempt to get rid of guns, but the next guy's going to line up to sell them to you.
Yeah, it's a crazy world we live in. And it's like we passed the legislation to like legalize marijuana. Cool, great. And it's supposed to go to education, but you still hear teachers striking because they're not getting paid. It's like, where is this money going? Like,
Yeah, we're talking billions in tax revenue.
Yeah, billions of dollars. I'm like, billions. And I get there's a lot of schools to try and spread that out with, but it just seems like that was like an empty promise just to like make everybody think it was a good thing to do.
Sweeten the deal.
And I'm all good with like legalization and people smoking weed and edibles and all that, because I'll do it every now and then too. Like I used to really smoke weed like all day. Like that was my thing. Like I'd go run lit, you know, like my anxiety sometimes I would need to smoke before I'd go run a race, just because I'd like throw up and get all like anxious when I was like really trying to compete.
Marijuana would kind of tone it down.
Help out. And like now sometimes I'll smoke and I'm just like, I need to go to bed, or like I need to not be in public and take myself and exit away. Like it's crazy sometimes. Like I can't believe how weak I am now on my intake. But I still love it, because like I go to like it would be a miracle if I'm up past 10 o'clock.
Okay.
If I'm at a sporting event, I'm good, you know, or like somewhere out and about, I can probably last at 10 o'clock. But if I'm at home and I'm trying to watch a UFC fight, oh man,
you're done.
I'm toast.
What time do you get up then?
Like 4, 5 a.m.
That's why.
And that's why.
That's why.
And that sucks, because I do like waking up early. But I don't like also going to sleep so early. I do like this rest now, because as I'm older, I do realize the more hours I sleep, the better. But like going to sleep at 8 o'clock, man, it's a struggle. When the Nuggets play at 8 o'clock, I'm so mad, because I usually never see the ending. You better take my ass to the game so I could see it.
I see.
Live action or not happening?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm snoozing, and I'll catch the replay at like 1 a.m. when it's replaying on my TV, and I'm like, oh.
So what is it about the 4 a.m. wake up before the sun that keeps you coming back? Like there's something about it that keeps you coming back.
You just can't turn it off. You know what? I don't even sleep with an alarm clock. The only time I ever set an alarm is if I'm in Vegas, because I'm probably partying hard and I need to catch a flight at 6 a.m. and I don't get back to my room until about like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I better set an alarm, because I'm probably...
That sleep cycle is going to be right in the middle of it.
I'm going to miss my flight,
So you wake up naturally?
Yeah,
right on
naturally.
time, pretty consistent?
I never have an alarm. Like, I never set alarms.
So what are you doing that early? You're not drinking coffee.
Either I just like lay down and appreciate that my dog is still like breathing and just like fuck around with him before I have to go to work. Sometimes
be present. Yeah, that's always a good one.
I think about work too, so like that just starts your mind
Mental
going
prep.
and you can't turn it off. Or I would just smoke and just hope that I can go back to sleep for like another hour or so. But
okay.
Once I'm up, my brain's going already. It's just good to go. But that's why I work early, and then I get off like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So when I get home, I can go run and then eat, and then I'm pretty much, my day's done. And I'm trying to watch a game, but it'd be a miracle if I make it past 10 o'clock. UFC fights are such a struggle.
Yeah. Do you pay for the pay-per-view for those then?
No. I'm going to get busted by Mr. White himself, but no, I haven't paid for a fight in years. I have like a streaming service that I love and use, and it has everything. It's so overwhelming. It's like going to Costco with this thing. It's like 2,000 channels. You have HBO, Cinemax, all those. You have the NBA channel, the NFL channel, the MLB, pay-per-view. I mean, like, then it breaks down into countries too. Like, I could watch, Brazil's like
so you can change your VPN or something like that. Like
with the VPN, anything's possible for sure.
And it's beautiful, dude. I pay $21 a month for this service, and I can watch whatever the hell I want. It even has like options for on-demand TV series and movies and stuff.
Really?
Like I don't watch a lot of television, and if I do, it's from like 8 p.m. until 5 a.m.
As far as you can make it.
Yeah. I am that person that needs to like listen to something to go to sleep.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, like my window faces out to the street, and I can hear everything. I can hear when like foxes are killing rabbits, because they're just I live like off a golf course, so
Okay.
there's always just like rabbits everywhere. You know, they scare the hell out of me when I'm walking my dog at like midnight. And
Yeah.
someone just jumps out, but you can just hear them getting murdered by coyotes and things like that.
Damn.
You just hear the
Okay.
squealing in the morning. You know.
Oh, jeez.
So-
So why don't you sleep with like a fan or like a white noise?
Oh yeah, I'm a fan sleeper. I gotta have it.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Like or even like a white noise machine.
Something,
But me,
rainwater.
I like the moving air because I'll get so hot boxed in my blanket, and then so like I have an area like I have my fan set up to where it's like if I'm rolling on my left side, there's not a lot of air movement, but then if I roll over to the right side, there's like a draft there.
There's a breeze.
Yeah, so then like it depends where my mood is at, and then if I need to open up, then I can like let that draft come in, you know. And then the sound. It's really the
sound for me is what does it.
Yeah, I need the sound. That's probably the most important part.
Once
of
you
the
become a
fan
fan
equation.
sleeper, there's no going back.
No, there's no going back.
And I'll turn mine to the wall when it's like negative 20 degrees out. You know, so
But just so it's still.
just so I have
motion.
in the sound.
Yeah, those Dyson really expensive fans that make no noise, no thank you.
Yeah.
Because I almost want that big old cheap box Walmart fan.
Yes,
Like that
that's
big
the one.
Like that one that's
Loud
like
noise. Yeah,
you
it
turn
sounds like a plane.
Bro, ain't nobody fucking waking you up with that shit.
No, it does. It puts you out.
It's the best sleep. It's the best sleep.
And I have a fan right above
Yeah.
me too. So tonight when I get home, I'm gonna try this fan thing out.
Dude, high. Put it on all
So,
the way
so
high.
you can make noise.
Yeah, all the way up. All the way
So
up.
it's like the point where it's rocking because you
Yeah.
have it on the high speed.
It's
Yeah, that's
funny.
the
Like
best.
I used to be this like person where I would be in this like deep trance, but you could have a conversation with me and I would reply back to you. Like I could have a conversation with you and not even remember it, but I'm like asleep too. Like my
Huh.
brother used to tell me, he's
So
like,
you're a
"Man,
sleep talker.
Yeah.
Really?
I used to be, not anymore.
Okay.
I'm just like a deep sleeper now. I
Yeah.
can hear things, but when there's like that certain time frame, once I get into that deep sleep zone, I'm out. Like I don't hear anything. But
That
then
REM
once I
sleep.
start to like wake up and I can start hearing everything, and that's when I hear the coyotes. It's like 4
Yeah.
a.m. It's like, all right, well,
Still, you're napitating.
yeah, like, do I want to watch SportsCenter again? Because I probably just watched it last night at 8 o'clock, or if I made it past 9.
Yeah. So, some section you didn't see last night.
Yeah, you know, there's
Yeah.
probably like some highlight I missed, but I don't know. SportsCenter is usually what I just go to sleep to.
Yeah.
I love sports, like 24/7 sports for me.
Yeah.
I do like movies and shows and like some TV, but usually if I'm watching TV, it's just sports.
Okay.
Pretty much how I am too. It's sports, and then like Yellowstone. I was a big fan of that show. I got into. The Sopranos is still my favorite show of all time. But like,
Oh yeah.
I don't go home and watch the news. I
Never
gave up.
watched the
Yeah,
news.
no.
I gave up
Uh-uh.
mainstream media in 2015, 2016 during those election periods. It was probably one of the best decisions I ever made.
Ever.
I'm just
I
happier.
hate the news.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all
It's,
propaganda.
and it's like, it's never good news. Like it's always just bad news.
It's just
never
propaganda.
about like
Fear.
heroes in your state, or like someone doing good. It's always something bad. I'm like, God, like
It's
can we
trash.
talk about something
It's
good?
it's poison. They're
Yeah.
trying to poison our minds and our thought process. And actually, I'm going to tie this back into the homeless issue that we were talking about. All this stuff is propagated. Like the pills, the pharmaceuticals, the over added sugar and all the foods that we eat, the propaganda on the news stations, the medical society that's overpriced and actually doesn't care about you. Like, dude, it's all connected. It's all in cahoots. And I just, you talk about seeing all the trash out there and like, it's a sketchy planet that we live on, but then there's also a lot of beauty too. So it's like we have to walk this path of like, how much do we want to focus? Where do we want to focus our energy? Where are we gonna? Because I could go off on conspiracies all day on all this stuff, But then if I get too entrenched in thinking about conspiracies, then at what point does it become unhealthy for me? Because then I'm just focused on distrust too much, So there's like this balance, but it's still good to be aware.
It is.
I don't know what made me open that up. Like I don't know what brought me there, but.
I agree. Like I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. and watch the news because it's just gonna bring.
Oh
my
yeah, the
whole,
news. That's what brought me
it'll,
there.
like,
Yeah, shit's
it'll-
horrible.
It'll
morale
just
killer.
Make, like my morale is already up high. I'm ready to go. Maybe I'll get back to this like sniffing salt thing, and be really ready to go. But then you just
Be
turn
really
on the
ready.
news and it's like, oh, someone
Yeah.
died or something got bombed or
Yep.
this or that. You're just like, damn, like you just drained my energy. Like I don't even want to be happy about anything
it's
anymore.
It's just fear mongering, most of it. And I'll even go as far to say as the weather is sometimes too now.
Yeah.
You know, my good friend Kylie Burst, chief meteorologist over there at Fox 31, you know, she'll tell you, she's like, man, these pinpoint weather alerts and all this stuff is like, it's designed to compete and capture views and things like, it's like pinpoint weather alert for what? It's going to be 92 today. It's a pinpoint weather alert. That's the only highlight we can find for the day. And then, we're getting 1 to 3 inches this weekend. Weather advisory. It's take precautions.
You know what? Those winter advisories, sometimes I feel are hoaxes.
Yeah,
to, like,
100%,
make
bro.
people go to the grocery
Yes,
store.
that's what I'm saying.
Buy out the store.
Yeah.
So we
they're
can
all in
restock.
cahoots.
You know, yeah, 100%. I do believe in things like that.
People buy into it.
The one thing, being a native of Colorado, when they tell me it's going to snow like 1 to 3 inches, we're probably going to get like a foot. And then when they're like, it's a blizzard, we're going to get a foot.
We get like 4.
We get like an inch, you know, or like some dusting. And I'm like, man.
That's not bad at all.
You know, I don't hate the meteorologists in Colorado. They're smart. Like, if I have a kid in Colorado still, I'm going to say, hey, you be a meteorologist because it's okay to be wrong in Colorado.
That's true.
You can just blame it on the winds and the blizzard went away.
It's true.
But yeah, like the weather is just, it kind of molds people in to go to the grocery stores and go raid things, and
it's all connected. It's all connected, and I stole this from Curve Your Enthusiasm, so this is not mine.
I
But,
love that
but
shit.
any meteorologists out there that golf, you know, I'm looking at you calling for the showers and all this stuff, and then it's perfect weather the next day, and
They're out on the golf
one's
course.
on the golf course. No one's on the golf course. That show is so ridiculous.
Well, and it's become, too, a lot of, you know, meteorologists take the hit, of course, but they're really just kind of the spokesperson, the liaison. A lot, like where it's at now is a lot of it comes from the higher-up producers. You know, it's entertainment is what a lot of it's turned into. Traffic, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think traffic reporting is probably still legit, but even that sometimes I feel like they're like, oh, we got a wreck on the side of 25. Consider using another route. You know, there's just so many things that people react to now, and there's so much influence happening with Twitter and like our cell phone alerts. You know, my phone will start going off and making loud noises. Blizzard warning. You know, and everyone starts to panic. Everyone starts to panic, and the energy is like elevated all of a sudden. I grew up in New England. You know, we would get 12 to 18 inches would be the forecast, and then we would check the school report, and it's like, now school's still on for tomorrow.
Yeah,
we're good. We're good. Now they're closing schools 2 days in advance because of a weather report. It's unreal.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we had to go to school still. We've had multiple blizzards in Colorado, and I remember still going to school. In fact, like, this is my like neighborhood. Like, I grew up in this neighborhood. Like, Aurora is like hometown. I went to Overland down the street. Went to Prairie Middle School down the street. Like, Aurora is like, it's fun coming down here. I was like, wow, okay, like, this is memory lane. Like, I remember going to Anthony's Pizza down the street, and like back in the day, it was dollar sliced pizzas and dollar beers. Like, you can't even get anything for $1 these days, I feel like.
Even the dollar store has, it's like the $3 store now.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in there's taking price.
I haven't been to one since probably like the pandemic, but I just remember going to the dollar stores, finding random junk, like drunk or like going to a party, you know, and you need to like go pick up some random things. Like, dollar store is where it's
Clutch,
at. But
Dollar Tree, Dollar General. There's another one.
They should get sued for that then. It's not $1 anymore.
It's not $1 anymore. Well, it's like the Arizona teas that have like the 99 cents engraved in the can, but then you pay $1.49. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, wait, what's going on here?
I got hoaxed.
Yeah.
You're just trying to bring back the memories. I remember seeing someone post on Facebook the other day, like, the McDonald's value menu from like 1995, and you could get like a Big Mac meal for like $6.
Oh, what is it nowadays?
Oh, the Big Mac meal?
Is it probably like $9?
No way.
Is
it's
it more?
Probably even more.
You think it's more than that?
Probably 14, 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
no
probably like
way.
14
You're paying
bucks.
$14, $15 for a Big Mac meal.
No, I think you are, man. I do.
Really?
The value
I
at
bet,
McDonald's
yeah.
anymore.
Dog, I would not be paying
Crazy.
for that.
No.
Never.
I'm not paying for that.
That's where In-N-Out kind of has it made a little bit, because like I don't want to wait in that line. It's a good tasting burger, but where In-N-Out figured it out is the price.
Yeah.
Because you can get a double, you get your fries, you get a drink, you're out of there for $8, $9.
Yep.
You know, that I can get behind.
It tastes like genuine too. I don't know. Some of the hamburgers that you get from like fast food places, even Wendy's now, doesn't taste like it's like grilled or just like the old Wendy's days. Yeah, like only In-N-Out, I really feel like I'm genuinely eating a hamburger.
I want one so bad right now.
That fast food flavor.
I would
Sounds good.
crush one. I just don't
sounds
like
so
their
good.
fries much, and I'm a
Yeah, the fries.
fry-holic.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I'm
the fries are-
gonna agree.
And fries
yeah.
make hamburgers even better. And like, if they would just change their fries, it would be like a go-to. I
They
wouldn't
just need
go
to deep
anywhere
fry
else.
them a little bit longer.
Yeah,
A little
They just
crispier.
need to go a little bit longer. That's it.
What do you think best fast food fries on the market? Fast food. I mean, I'm thinking about this myself too, because McDonald's is too salty. Burger King, I think, are too thick.
Carl's Jr. is up there.
Carl's Jr. is up
Ooh,
there.
They do,
Yeah.
and they have waffle fries that are
Yeah,
actually
Yeah, the,
wild
the
fries.
crisp cut fries.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Good Times.
Ooh, Good
Times
Times
has
is
some
good
good
too.
ones.
Good times. Good times.
But see,
yeah.
that's only a Colorado, New Mexico thing. Good Times. They're not national, but that's still
good,
fast food.
Oh, Good Times. Oh, yeah. And then Hardee's, Carl's Jr. is the same.
yeah,
that's
but,
the same.
but they're national.
There used to be a Hardee's back in the day right down the street from here.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
there's a Carl's
man.
Jr. still up past the Trampede.
Oh, I bet that's what the Hardee's was then back then.
Yeah.
Huh.
The Trampede.
That fucking
Didn't-
place.
you-
Man,
that-
I've been to the Stampede since I was like 13,
It
guys.
sucks now. No, it used to pop off. That place used to
Jeff
pop
Krosky and I
off.
used to go there every
Yeah.
Wednesday night.
Because he
We
lived
went
right
there
down
recently.
here
It sucked.
too.
It wasn't that good.
Dude, the
yeah.
Stampede back in the day was fun. Like clubs back in the day were fun. I've been to some clubs like recently downtown, and I feel out of place. I
Yeah.
feel like that old person
Yeah.
looking down on the generation, you know. But I don't want to be that stereotype because I do want to
Yeah.
enjoy music and having some drinks.
Yeah.
But you just see like everybody's just staring at their cell phones, or like they're just not drawn to like the whole point of the club.
There's
where
no
you're
real
there
connection
to enjoy the
happening.
music. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no connections anymore,
Yeah.
and like people are overdressing and just like trying to make themselves look too impressive. And then you wake up the next day and you see like that makeup cover all over your pillow, and you're just like, who is this person? You
Yeah.
know, like it's just not the same anymore. It's like going to Boulder. Like when I go to a CU game, I feel so out of place. I do
Yeah.
feel like that adult sitting in like
Yeah.
around all the kids now. Like I feel weird when I'm downtown Boulder. They're just like young and they're just like they just don't
dude,
care.
look, early 21-year-olds, like early 20s, like that's a different age, like maturity. It's just, you know, once I'm 30, coming up on 37, so that's
I'm gonna be 35.
that's coming soon for me.
Yeah.
And so I can see that, like I've been through life, like I can sense the life experience difference, and that's okay. You know, we're all just there to enjoy the same sporting event, and let the young people have fun like young people have fun, like I used to have fun, like you used to have fun. Like you want to respect them as long as they're being respectful. You know, that's the main thing.
It's just different now, to your
I
point.
just think the cell phones ruined it.
It did.
And I love cell phones, right? Like it's great to be
Great tool.
connected, but I myself, if I'm like on a date, if I'm hanging out with a chick, like I barely even have my phone out.
Yeah,
it's
keep
almost
that
like
in your
so
pocket.
rude.
Keep it in your
like,
pocket.
Can I just leave it at home?
Yeah, you can leave it.
Like I don't even want to take it with me, you know? Like
Just
it's-
leave
it's
it.
Almost it's like people just have to like
They're addicted to their
connect and look
phones.
at their phones, and it's
It's
disgusting.
just crutch. Oh wait,
It's the binky.
binky.
It's a binky.
It's a binky.
That's what it
Yeah.
is. It's that comfort zone. We see it a lot in the airports and stuff like we've talked about throughout the episode. You do any people watching in any public place, and I've always, said when we go out to eat or anything like that, no phones. We have not one of us has looked at our phones since we started this podcast. So I love podcasting. I'm guaranteed at least an hour or two a week of just real conversation.
Yeah.
The lost art. People don't do this anymore, and if they do, phones are usually involved, right?
Yeah, you like concerts now, people filming and everything too. I really like it when I go to a concert and they make you like check in your phone.
Oh, yeah,
one
like
of those
comedy shows.
bags and stuff. Like I love that stuff. Like it's like you get to live a moment most people can't.
Yeah.
And now you can just see it anywhere. I was like, oh man, I went to this concert, and it was like private event only. But then like you can just watch a recording of
Yeah.
it. You can go on YouTube and see it. And no offense, it's cool. Like some other people might to relive that experience that might not be able to or fortunate enough to. But it's so much better when you've been there and you can brag about that
Yeah.
moment compared to anybody else.
Well, then also you're present to not where it's like, oh, I need to capture this, because that's a distraction. When you pull it out to take a quick video at a concert, and look, doing the podcast, like
We do it a lot.
yeah, sometimes it's work. Like I'm like, dude, if I tag this artist and they reshare, then they appreciate me, and then it's like a cyclical thing. But it's taking me out of the concert, so it's like I'm not experiencing it like I could if I would just put my phone down and focus on what's in front of me. And also putting the phone down is a great challenge for everybody to get into, because once you start putting it down and then you start realizing how much you're going to grab your phone, and then you start disciplining yourself and getting in the way of going and grabbing it, like, what else am I going to do with my time? Then you start really thinking about life, and then you're actually involved in life instead of just, like, aimlessly, like, going to this time suck. It's a time suck.
Always trying to find that right moment, you know, to capture. It's like, sometimes, why capture it? Like, just keep it up here captured, you know? Like,
Absolutely.
how many great concerts have we been to before cell phones were great, like picture taking things, and you had to actually like bring a camera and have an MD stick, you know, like
Yep.
or not even a camera, like you just have that memory in your head, or your ticket stub that you saved.
Or it's a shitty Polaroid, like you
Yeah,
you
the
got the
old
one
Kodak
that you
cameras.
wind up. Yeah, you kept
Yeah,
winding
you wind
up.
it, and then you would take it to Rite Aid to 1 hour
Yeah.
photo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you don't know.
You didn't know.
Yeah, you
There'd
don't
be
know.
a thumb in it, you know,
You're
like over
"Fuck,
the image.
Hopefully there's some good pictures in here. That's what you'd all be hoping for and shit.
That
was fun though. That was fun back in the day.
that was
like
more
that.
our era.
That was fun.
Man, I had our senior trip, high school senior trip, right? Like we went to Cancun, and I'll never forget. We dropped off all our rolls of film because it was one of those like type things.
The disposable camera.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And we dropped it off over at the Walmart down the street, down over there too. And my buddy screamed so loud, and he's very loud, and you could hear this from across the whole store, just
Okay.
like F-bombs, this and that. He's with his mom. We're all just like doing this like thing at Walmart, and his mom is like going through the pictures
no.
and just like skimming through, you know. She's like, oh, this is great. And apparently like we must have taken some pictures of this dude doing some dumb shit in Mexico, because he was not feeling it. He was so mad. Took the doubles, took the roll. Don't even know what those pictures are anymore,
great.
because they're gone. But I'll never forget just being in Walmart and hearing my buddy scream so loud, because we took some crazy pictures of him doing some dumb
And
shit.
he had
but
no idea. So he's like,
None.
"What the fuck is this?"
Get this out of here.
That is hilarious. man.
Oh man, senior trip, dude.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
I don't think I did a senior trip. Not that I can recall. I think there was one, but I don't remember being on it.
I won mine on a dance off at Rock Island back in the day. Like now we're
Dance-off,
talking
huh?
back like
Okay.
clubs back in the day. Yeah, and it was like this dance off, and like if you just made the crowd like, you know, just scream more for you, then you won your trip for a senior
I
trip.
feel like you got moves.
Oh,
I feel like you got moves.
I just had the craziest wardrobe, because like
Okay.
like you had your reps, you know, of your school that was like trying to boast up the senior trip, and they hit me up and they're like, hey, you know, if you just get the crowd going crazy, you can have a free trip and come with us on the senior trip. I was like, all right, cool. So like I had one of those like Alaskan hats on, you know, that like cover your ears.
Oh, the
and
Eskimo hat?
big
I got
things.
one of those.
I had a robe on, some like leopard print underwear. I mean,
This is
dude,
a wild
I just,
outfit, a
Yeah, I
wild
was on
getup.
a wild outfit,
Okay.
doing a crybaby on the ground. I mean, like, yeah, I was doing some dumb moves, and dude, it got ugly.
What is the crybaby?
You know, where you're just like laying on the ground and you're just like knocking on the ground.
Okay, but that could be a very like.
Oh yeah, it was like dance
Sexual move
moves, and
sometimes.
then
Yeah.
because there was like like hip thrusting
Yeah.
against the ground, you know,
Yeah.
while knocking.
Why is the crybaby so sexual? I don't like that it's called the crybaby, and it could be such a sexual.
I agree.
Move.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It should be called something else. It reminds me of like Ravishing Rick Rude, the wrestler from back in the day, where he's like swinging his hips on the turnbuckle.
Oh man.
But yeah, man, I won my senior trip, and it was like the craziest trip in Mexico. Actually, the second, because
awesome.
I've like me in Mexico, we have our battles partying.
Mm-hmm.
Like I almost died in Mexico one time off my buddy's infinity pool, and luckily landed in his like trough, like the drop. Otherwise, it goes down to like a 400-foot like cliff
Really?
dive. Yeah, like it's.
Damn,
crap.
on an infinity pool. How the hell did you end up on the other side of it?
Well, we were just messing around, like throwing this like football
Oh,
or
okay.
something in the air, and I went up to try and grab it,
3 over.
and didn't even know how close I was to the edge, and just bloop,
Oh jeez.
flew over, dropped in this like little mini trough, and it was like probably like 8-foot drop or so, and I could just always remember my buddies' heads, you know, just like
Like, looking
four heads
over?
pop over, yeah, like thinking I was gone.
Damn.
Jesus, dude.
And that was that bachelor party. Like that was like a music video.
That's
Every
sketchy.
day on this bachelor party was like a music video. I thought I was in Jay-Z Big Pimpin' music video, because we're like on a yacht one day.
Okay.
We're at this one mansion the other day. Then we're at what I call the compound another day, which was like their actual house. There's just
Wow.
it was crazy. And we went paddleboarding or something, some type of like ocean adventure in the Gulf of Mexico, man, and I was not feeling it. I couldn't get on my board and balance myself. I'm
now, were you like
as
nervous of the water there?
Oh
as,
man,
like,
I was
as
so
normal?
scared. Every wave looked like a shark fin, you know.
You're like, get me out of here,
dude. I just wanted to get back on the boat and drink. So yeah,
every wave looking like a shark fin. That's funny.
But you know, you get like liquid confidence. It's a bachelor party. You're trying to hang and do like the events, but after that, man, like from now on, I'm just gonna chill on the boat. You guys want to go do water activities? Cool. I'm on the boat drinking, or I'll just be sober and drive everybody around. But no,
man,
me and open
not
water.
Not getting in the water.
No, I'll never do a triathlon either. Like, nope, I'm good.
I did some kayaking out in San Diego, out in the Pacific there, and that was a pretty interesting excursion. Our good buddy Mark and I went out there for my 21st, so this was like 2010.
Okay.
It's back when I was still in the grocery biz, the old days.
Yeah,
and,
good days.
Yep, out in Dago, man. And when I was coming back in, they're like, okay, you know, you got to position the nose of your kayak and ride this wave in. And I had it. I watched my buddy Mark go, and then it's my turn. And I get up, I'm on the crest of that wave, and I'm like, I got this. And all of a sudden, it just went, threw me over, and the riptide grabbed me.
Oh, yeah.
Lost my sunglasses. Like, my buddy said, I stood up and was just staring out into the Pacific. Like, it fucked me up for sure. The ocean's unforgiving, man.
Yeah.
Those tides.
You get stuck in one of those, too.
Water's heavy, and there's a shit ton of it throwing you around out there.
And you only move, like, this fast in water, while sharks and other things are just...
zip lining. Man.
Now, do you like aquatic life, like aquariums or like fish?
Oh yeah,
okay.
I love fish. I love all that stuff. I love sharks and whales. Like I really like the ocean. I just don't. You don't want to be in the ocean.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, because somewhere in that big body of water is something bigger than us. And honestly, the orcas.
The orca.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The orcas, man. The
They're
orcas,
bullies
they do
of
it.
the seas.
Yeah, and honestly, when they were attacking all those vessels and stuff, they probably deserved it. The vessels deserved the orca attacks and stuff because they were probably harassing and actually killing and injuring orcas. You know, so there
had to be a reason.
Yeah, they deserve that. I'm team orca on that.
I am too. Something probably ignited. It was probably like a orca versus the world type like movement at the time. It reminds you of that Simpsons episode where like the dolphins all start attacking people.
Okay. I think that sounds familiar.
I don't know. I didn't see that one.
The Simpsons have predicted a lot of things.
Yeah, they end up like moving on land too. Like the dolphins end up just becoming like humans. Yeah, and they just like try and take over the world. But you know, there's probably rhyme and reason why they're attacking.
They're intelligent.
You know.
Very intelligent creatures for sure. And I don't know if you guys ever saw Blackfish, which was kind of the story about what happened at SeaWorld in San Diego. And
I feel like I did see that. That was a sad documentary.
It is because
it's sad.
I don't know if I could last on that one.
It's pretty rough, man. You really get to see how poorly these orcas were treated. And just what putting these big whales and these big fish in captivity. You know, I think it's one thing to have a small little household fish tank, but when you take these massive creatures out of the wild and put them in captivity, it totally fucks them up. I mean, they weren't built for that.
Yeah, they're built to traverse oceans, not this. It's a massive pool, sure, but it's still not enough space. It's still not enough space.
And it's not like a zoo, because a zoo, I feel like they still like keep them in the back. There's like this habitat built for them. As to like SeaWorld, it's just like a bunch of people surrounding this like aquarium, and just like, you know, like this thing is just not in its like natural habitat. There's nothing even built for it to like seem like it's in the ocean performing in front of people. Like I felt like SeaWorld versus the zoo, like the zoo's way better to be held captive than compared to SeaWorld.
And I think it's better. It treats their animals better. I mean, look, zoos probably have their mistreatment too, and like it's there, but I think it was more rampant in the SeaWorld.
The SeaWorld definitely for sure. I mean, we had John Rinke on here from Netflix's Tiger King, and he kind of dove into what that zoo life looks like and how these animals should be kept versus how they are being kept in some areas, even kind of dogged on Keensburg here where they have the tiger sanctuary. You know, and I've been to the tiger sanctuary. I mean, these guys have a lot of room, but there's still things that probably aren't being done to, you know, the zoo protocols and where they should be. Kind of interesting to dive into.
It is. But great conversation. I mean, we've covered so many different things, man. You're a natural talker. You don't really do social media too much. Normally we ask for plugs, but we do have a question we ask everybody. I'm sure you've heard this question before. Do you know what question? Do you know what question we're going to ask?
Maybe not, no.
You don't know? Okay.
That's even better.
So I'm going to hit you with it. So if you could give, let's say everybody on the entire planet heard this episode and they all hear this, your answer to this, if you could give one piece of advice to all of humanity so everybody could be better tomorrow, what would that one piece of advice be?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Honestly, just treat everybody equally. It's probably like a cliche, but you just never know who you're talking to in front of you. It kind of reminds me of back in the day when Kevin and I worked in the grocery business, and I worked at the Starbucks. And this one grocery store that we were at, it was like well known. It was popular. It was busy. It always had presidents in there. And I would always tell my staff, like, hey, be nice to whoever the hell you're talking to in front of you, because you never know if they're having a good day, bad day. It could be a president of a company, just like you just never know. And you just never know. Like, you could meet some of the best people, or you could piss off the wrong person and cause a catastrophe.
That's true.
Especially being a native to Colorado and like the Columbine High School stuff, you know, there's just like, there's probably better preventative ways of going about talking to other people or judging other people. You just never know. And it could make or break you, honestly.
Yeah. And I feel like we truly get tested with that when we're having a bad day. Like, so if I'm having a bad day, my patience is thin. Like, I was having some tooth pain like last week, and I finally got it fixed, thank goodness, and that feels way better now.
Nothing's worse
but
than
like,
that.
it was testing my patience. Like, and I could sense it, and I was like, dude, I better keep this to myself. It's my own fault that I put this off to why I'm feeling this toothache. I can't take this out on other people. Even though I wanted to at work, like, my patience was thinner for everything. Until I went and got it fixed.
I remember when you got to the studio,
Yeah.
you were like, "Man, I'm not doing well today."
Yeah, I was pissed off. Like, I was
We're in
frustrating.
a sensitive world now. Like,
Yeah.
We're in a real soft world. Like, a lot of people are soft these days, and you just never know. Like, it's kind of bad. Like, everybody's like so high tense now. Yeah, I grew up here in Aurora, and then my parents moved to Parker, and I remember going to Ponderosa my freshman year.
What graduating are you?
2003.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so you're a couple years. I was 05.
Yep.
I was 05. Okay.
So I'll be 39 in a couple months, but
Okay.
I just remember the difference of coming to school in Aurora versus like going to school in Parker. And that was like the real Abercrombie and Fitch like fad time too.
Dude, same thing for me. I moved from Park Hill to Parker.
Oh God.
And honestly, like, I had a conversation with my dad where I was and like, because Parker lacks diversity. It's very
100%.
whitewashed out there.
Oh yeah.
And I asked my dad when I was younger. Yeah, it's getting more diverse. But I was like, where are all the black people? Like, where'd the black people go? Because like, I had friends growing up like that, and it was honestly weird just being around only white people. I don't know. It was like a culture shock.
I felt that.
It was
a culture shock. Because it's the same thing. Like, I called Overland the melting pot. You just had every culture there, which was great. Like, sometimes they probably like beef with one another, but you know, when we'd go face Cherry Creek High School, we're all like one, and we'd go fight and beat them up and all that too, you know. But going at Ponderosa, like, if you didn't have Abercrombie and Fitch or any money, you were pretty much like the minority.
Abercrombie and Fitch ain't even in the mall anymore.
I know.
It's not even in there anymore.
I remember when their cologne came out. It was called Fierce.
Oh,
Fierce.
man.
And everybody
That
was wearing it
damn
my senior year.
smell.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
My first boss wore it, and I always knew, like, I would walk, I was like, Dennis is here.
And it was like that. It's like, you know how like your grandpa would wear the Old Spice back in the day. Like, Abercrombie had that like exact.
You always
cologne.
knew what it was.
You just knew. But yeah, man, Parker was such a culture shock because I moved out there in like the mid '90s when I was in middle school, and it was the same thing. I was like, where's all the other cats at? Like, everybody's all just white out here, and it just didn't feel right. So after my freshman year, I just went back to Overland and went to school every day. I went from Parker to Aurora every day because it was worth it, man. Like, the culture. If you ever watched The Real World back in the day, like the early seasons, there would always be like someone from like Utah or somewhere just like secluded from race, or they'd be like a Mormon or something. And of course, in that house,
from diversity.
They would have like, you know, like they would just have like someone there that would disturb their whole beliefs, and they're just like a hermit, and they crumble, and they can't live in this house with that person, and that's sad to see. And like, I never wanted to be that person.
Yeah, so to accept others and respect others, you know.
Way to put it. Yeah.
It really. I mean, that's before we recorded. I told you a couple things that I've learned through the podcast, but that's also another one. And I don't think it's through the podcast that I learned this, but actually just growing older and understanding life, all these cliches, they're all true. Every single one of these cliches is true. And it sounds like old news every single time you hear them, but when you break down these simple cliches, like life is full of simple truths, and sometimes it's so simple that you're like, the answer can't be that simple, but it actually is. And so just like those simple mantras like respect others, that goes so deep. Like, well, am I respecting myself first of all? Because if I'm gonna go respect others, do I actually even have self-respect? What does self-respect look like to me? And then what does it look like for me to actually outwardly respect other people, especially if I disagree with this person or don't see eye to eye with them? Like, how do I embrace and still show respect to that person even though I disagree? So then it's like you have this simple cliche of respect people, but then you can go so deep into like the actual emotional layers of getting it done.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Like, manners don't exist anymore. Like, you don't ever see like other dudes opening up
Chivalry.
doors for their girlfriends sometimes,
Basic
you know,
chivalry.
or wives, or like holding the door open for someone behind you.
Oh,
Like,
come on.
I know, it's
crazy.
It's funny, actually. Just today, when I was arriving at the studio, I was holding the door coming in here for an older lady that was walking with a cane. She's like, "Oh, no one does that for me anymore." It's like, what is that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People are just so stuck. You know, one track mind, phone, got to get to where I'm going.
Right
you know,
here,
looking
right?
down.
Binky time.
Binky time. It's unreal, man. Just very, very uninvolved. So yeah, I think that's all good advice. Get yourself around different people. I mean, when I first moved out to Colorado in 2007, I came from a very secluded part of the country. In central New Hampshire, wasn't around a lot of diversity. And so I met these guys when I moved out here. I got into the city life a little bit and got me out of my country boy shell and started to understand things and have less hate and more acceptance and learn from each other. We need more of that.
Yeah. And then you probably put your country boy on them.
He did.
Because, like, I was the same
did.
way. Like, I really didn't know much about country.
Uh-huh.
And then, like, I started hanging out with, like, you and Jeff and other people that, like country.
Appreciate
I'm like,
it,
yeah,
yeah.
you know what? Like, I get this. This actually kind of sounds like R&B to me, too, you know, but just in a different tone.
That's what I did.
So
I was like
accept it.
I was relating country lyrics to rap lyrics, and then one day it like was this epiphany. I was like, country and rap are the same thing. They talk about the same stuff.
Yep.
But it's
women,
just
cars.
Yeah, it's just a different. It's just a different presentation, but it's the same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's good. And not all country's good country. Not all rap's good rap.
And
Oh,
not yeah.
God, by far.
Every
You know?
genre has good music and shitty music. Majority of every genre is probably shitty, and then
would agree with that.
there's good music within every genre though.
It's
you
like
know?
when you hear, like, oh, in my times, this music was great.
Yeah.
Now it's trash. I kind of feel that way sometimes
Rage Against
when
the
I
Machine.
listen.
Where's
Oh.
modern day Rage Against the Machine?
You know what's funny is I was running yesterday, and the very last song to kick in on my last mile was Rage Against the Machine.
Bulls
And-
on Parade?
Oh man, no. Oh God, I'm
The one that we all know.
That I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was like a classic because it also reminded me of wrestling too. Because when we wrestled in high school, we would play Rage Against the Machine. But it was just like perfect because then it reminded me of how great concerts were back in the day. I remember seeing Wu-Tang and Rage Against the Machine back in like 1996.
That's a hell of a show.
That's badass.
Dude,
Yeah,
that
that's
was
a hell
like
of a
the
show.
craziest mold of a show that you could ever be at. And, you know, I was like kind of fragile, so I wasn't up in the mosh pits. But like you had your mosh pit, and then you had like your hip hop people too.
Yeah.
You know, like it was that cool of
That's
such
awesome.
like a rare thing to see. But yeah, Rage Against the Machine gets me going, and I'm like, man, who knows about Rage Against the Machine anymore?
Yeah.
You know, like they're like the long lost, forgotten. And I wish like most people kind of still remembered them. It's
For
like,
sure.
Well, they probably like intentionally are put into an area where they're not publicized because of their messages.
views. Yeah.
Yeah,
are
that's
too
true.
real. Just like sometimes we get silenced for different reasons
Yeah,
or
it's a
such
battle.
another because we're just speaking what's on our mind. Yeah, I won't go too deep in that for that exact reason.
Well, you could even think now, like, when I remember hip hop from like the 90s and the 2000s, like there were great stories about like drug dealing and hustling to like come up and make some money. But it's different now because like some of the hip hop I listen to, I don't even want to call it hip hop. It's like rap or like some crazy
Mumble rap.
like screaming and mumbling. And like they came up off of like social media and like being popular and getting likes. Like they didn't have to hustle or work hard. They just like made this persona on and like got famous that way. So now like what they're talking about and rapping about or whatever, like it doesn't relate to me because like back then like we worked hard and like had to go our own routes of like making money. But like now it's just like, oh well, what'd you do? Like you got 1 million followers and now you're famous and now you can like
Surface
have
level.
people writing for you and you can make money. Like it just doesn't relate well. So like when people ask you like who's your favorite rapper and I say Jay-Z, they're like, oh, that dude's old. I'm like, well, if you actually sit down and listen to what he says and understand what he says, all the similes and metaphors that he uses compared to like what you're listening to now, like yeah, by far I'll take Jay-Z over. I don't know who's even out these days.
I was a big fan of Jay-Z when he was like the Hard Knocks Life album was great. I listened to a lot of him in high school.
Yeah.
My brother was a huge rap guy, so I would always listen to what he was listening to. But I would say if I had to pick like my favorite current rapper in this market, I'd go probably Tech Nine. I like how he keeps it real. I like how he raps. I like his style. I like, and he cranks content, man. He's always in the studio.
I got kicked out of a Tech Nine concert for crowd surfing and being too rowdy back in the day when I went to school at Front Range in Fort Collins. Dude, like that was a wild. I just remember just like stage diving, doing front flips off the stage, and then finally they just got enough of me. Just
so like,
keep
get this
going
guy
up.
out of here.
Yeah, I do like Tech Nine.
Tech's solid.
Tech Nine's great.
Yep. I just hope it's Kansas City Chiefs lose in the Super Bowl.
Oh man, the Chiefs are back in the
Go
bowl
Niners.
again.
Go Niners.
Gosh.
I mean, and I have to say this as an AFC fan, right? I'm a New England Patriots fan. So anytime my Patriots don't make it, I'm going to go NFC.
Gotta root for, you
know
gotta
what I
root
mean?
for like the conference, right? Because it only makes you seem like you were a stronger team that you probably lost to or so. But yeah, I hope the Niners do it. But man, it's so hard to go against.
Mahomes is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, give credit when credit's due. Kid's
Makes
unbelievable.
me bad saying that too. Like Broncos guy, like
He's fun to watch.
But damn,
he is
dude,
fun
like,
to watch.
It's
He's good.
almost hard to go against the Chiefs. Been there, done that multiple times.
It's
Let's
tough.
Let's go Niners.
It's going to be a good game.
Niners.
I'm tired of seeing Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift. Music's great, but
she doesn't play the sport.
it's like we're not there to talk about Taylor Swift. And I don't even think she wants all that. This is more of like CBS and Fox.
It's the NFL trying to just
it's the splash
sway
effect.
people to come in, and like, hey, we need to get the women movement going. If Taylor Swift likes NFL, why can't all like the younger generation of women like the NFL? Like, give it a try.
Huge PR.
Yeah, it's bad.
I
mean, it's cool, it's great, but
Yeah.
then again, it's just like, I don't want to keep seeing highlights of Taylor Swift in the sweet box. Like, cool, dude.
She's
like,
not even doing anything.
Yeah.
She's just up there. They just cut through when she, clapping
Sitting
because
there.
Kelsey just
It's
got.
like us in the sweet box. We're just
Right.
drinking and eating and having a good time. Like, what is she doing? She's not even a bad girl, It's not like she's like sitting there like taking off like articles of clothing, like getting down to like her bra, like cheering. It's just
She's just chilling.
yeah.
And then, obviously, then the focus was on, Kelsey's brother at the Buffalo game. He's shirtless, taking pictures with fans, running around. Like, it was more on him than it was Taylor Swift, which I found pretty interesting.
I found that great because like if he doesn't retire, he was just wearing all sorts of Kansas City gear on that just beat them last year for the Super Bowl. So then next year he's back as a Philly player. Like.
I think he's probably done, but
Yeah.
we'll see. And I think Travis, I don't know. Travis already said he's coming back next year, but this might be a good opportunity to go out with a ring if they get it.
What about Andy Reid?
There's rumors that Belichick could land in Kansas City if Reid goes out.
That's something I think about. Like if you're Andy Reid, if you lose the Super Bowl, do you try and run it back and see if you can make it again? Or if you win the Super Bowl, do you retire as a champ and you've like been to this like past 6 Super Bowls and won like 4 or something crazy?
Yeah, he's had a good record.
End it that way, or do you want to try and come back again next season when this season was already kind of like?
I don't know. I agree when Elway left on the 2-peat. And
Elway left at the right time.
I feel like we could have got a 3-peat if he stayed, and TD if he didn't get injured. So there's all these circumstances.
Yeah, there is.
But that's the last time I knew about sports was back then.
Oh man,
I haven't really.
Back era was great.
Yeah.
Patriots did it. That was great. That's kind of why I don't want Kansas City to do it.
If only the Avs could have pulled the back-to-back last year.
I know,
they were looking
badass.
solid to pull it, and then they just.
I want an Avs Bruins Stanley Cup.
Violated. Ooh, that would be Stanley Cup of Stanley Cups.
Man, we need it.
That's
Avs Bruins.
That's like fast paced versus like defensive, like kind of minded, like mid pace, like type hockey. That's like typical Boston in my mind. Like they still score, but in my mind, Boston is just like East Coast, like we're gonna rough you up type, and the Avs is just like don't leave us open because we're just gonna make shots and
that'd be a good
shoot
cup.
like 40 games. That would be an amazing.
Let's
cup.
do it. Avs Bruins Stanley Cup.
Why
I'm
not
calling
Avs Bruins Nuggets? Celtics.
Ooh.
Even though I don't like that matchup because Celtics got some bodies against the Nuggets that don't want to see. Because when it came down to the Heat versus the Celtics last year, I was like, if anybody's from Colorado, you want the Heat to make it because they only have Bam. He's like the only tall person to get rebounds for the Heat. Otherwise, the Nuggets match up way better against the Heat. You got like Aaron Gordon, who's like a monster, against like Jimmy. I almost just said Jimmy Buffett. Jimmy, whatever his name is, and then like all those other cats, they're tiny. So like even Michael Porter Jr. is getting doubles on rebounds and everything. Like that was exactly what I wanted, and I knew the Nuggets would have killed the Heat. But we start talking about like the Boston Celtics. Those dudes got some long arms, some tall bodies, and we don't have much size. So like Boston scares me on that matchup, but I'm not afraid. We should still take them and go prove it because Boston is that team to beat.
Love it. I want to see it happen. I think it'd be fun, man. I think it'd be fun. Last time we had like a Boston Colorado lineup would have been, of course, the World Series. I guess you could say the Bronco Patriot 2015 AFC Championship game.
Oh, what a game.
That was pretty wild. I think 2018, we went for the 2-point conversion there in New England to tie it up. Missed it. No good. Denver takes it. I remember hearing so much shit walking into King Supers the next day. That was a rough one. That was a rough one.
I never talk shit, man. Like
you're not a shit talker. I respect that.
Yeah, like, you know, I just let it be. Like, they'll play it out in the game because I always feel like I'm that person when I talk shit, my team loses. And I hate hearing it. Yeah. Like, I don't like dishing it. It's just like, hey,
man. Karma thing. It's a karma thing. Yeah.
I just don't like doing it. I don't talk shit. I just keep it silent and just say, hey, good luck. We'll see how this goes. Maybe you want to put a bet on it? Perfect. Otherwise, I'm not in someone's face. I don't even want to be at someone's house if it's like they're in my face screaming like every play because like they got
like, come on, what is this?
Yeah.
That's what was cool about being at the Patriots game with you. You know, there wasn't any shit talking. We were just there to have a good time, hang out, have fun, have a couple beers, have some burgers. That was an awesome time. So thanks again for bringing me along on that adventure, bro. That was awesome.
That was great. Like every good thing happened that day.
That day went perfectly.
Other
than the weather.
The last hurrah for Bill Belichick for you, man. Like that's
his
all
last
I kept
win.
Thinking about. Yeah.
His last win. I got to see it. I got to see it, man. So forever thankful for that, man. And we'll do it again.
Oh yeah.
Anytime I get sweet access with the business I'm in, I'll definitely invite you along to the Jim Beam Suite.
Yeah, you got to come out and hang out with us. I'm down. You're on the list.
I'm down, and you seem like you're hella chill, man. I'm having a good time. I'm happy that we all got to link up, and,
I knew this was gonna be a good show.
And that I got to meet you.
Yeah,
man. I got to meet you. So yeah, you're coming back on. Yep. I'm down to go to his game. Respect people out there. Do you have a slogan, a catchphrase for yourself?
Not really, no.
Okay.
You know, I don't. You know what? Before we even like get off and like end the whole thing, I gotta tell you, if you had a New York accent, you would remind me of a young Howard Stern. Your voice is just like, you guys have great radio voices, but you remind me of Howard Stern's voice minus the New York accent. Like if I was blind and you were to play this to me, I would be like, oh, Howard Stern podcast? Like, cool. Like, dude, you have such a smooth radio voice. Like, you guys are smooth operators for sure. Like,
no,
thanks,
Kev is the silky smooth radio voice king over here. I know this. I know
thanks,
this.
Man. Yeah.
Like radio plug, right? Like if I need someone to read some ads for me or something, like you have that voice.
Oh yeah, I volunteered him for projects that we've had too. I'm like,
I'll do some voiceovers.
I'm like, we could do voiceovers. Kev could do those for you. I was and Kev's just sitting there like, yeah, thanks, Art. I guess I can do that.
I'll do it.
So thank you both for letting me come on. Like this was awesome.
Oh no, yeah, you're great.
And thanks for letting my son come with me.
Oh yeah, let's get him on the camera for there. You can see him. He's resting.
Yeah, he's sleeping.
Let's go ahead and cheers to that, man.
Yeah, cheers.
I drank all three already.
Cheers.
Joey,
yeah, this is empty too. I got an empty here too, but cheers.
Great episode, man. This one flew by. We're at like an hour and a half into this, which is
nice.
Tremendous. Jeff Krosky, you're in the hot seat now. You're coming on this program, and we're going to get out of here, man. We talked about our slogans. I always like to say, let it rip, tater chip. Own it, full send. Let's do it. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, too.
Oh, yeah. Believe and achieve, y'all. We'll catch you on the next one.